When you are a celebrity or when you are so good in what you do and you become like a star in the society, then people stop looking at you as a human being. You actually become a super person. My name is Silas Kiriinya. I'm a consultant counseling psychologist, and I'm also the CEO of Amazon Counseling Center. It is sad that most of us in Kenya, and I think in Africa as well, and even other parts of the world, we look at mental health as a behavioral problem, as if someone has just intended to behave that way, without realizing that a mental illness or mental health issue is something that has to do with a lot, like you have to really bring together all other aspects of a human being for you to come to a point of saying that someone is mentally well or someone is experiencing mental illness. In this case also, it's important to note that mental wellness is part of actually health, and therefore there cannot be any health at all if you're not including mental health as well, or if we are excluding mental health. And therefore, as Kenyans, we have looked at mental health as just a sign of weakness. But also surprisingly, I hear also other narratives like someone has been bewitched and that's why they behave the way they behave. Also, there are other narratives like someone is cursed and that's why someone is behaving in such a manner, or they have lost it. And therefore, if this is what we use to define what mental health is or mental illnesses are, then actually realize we don't get to help even those who are struggling with such mental issues. So when you are a celebrity or when you are so good in what you do and you become like a star in the society, then people stop looking at you as a human being. You actually become a super person, and therefore you don't fall in the category of other people. That means then you have a perfect body, you have money, you have fame, like you have all you need in life. You kind of have everything figured out. But then the challenge is, these are human beings like everybody else. So whatever it is that is impacting other human beings, they are actually impacting them as well. But also the mistake that most of the celebrities do is that they try to identify themselves according to their fame, according to their body, according to the money they have. And if that is the case, then it means that day when your body will not be the same way, that day when the fans do not look at you the same, that day someone else will come who is more star than you are, then it means at that point you will lose your identity. And when you lose your identity, it means you have lost your whole self, and therefore you enter into crisis. And the crisis of identity will lead to the mental crisis, and mental crisis will lead to mental illnesses. And so that's why you realize that most celebrities, when they actually move from the stage, you realize they will start grappling with a bit of mental issues here and there. But also it's important to be realistic that at times you can win, you can lose. And that's a reality of life, because there are things that you're not in control of and there are things that you can control. The moment you understand the things you can control, then you go ahead and control them. But the moment you realize there are other things that you cannot control in your life, then you don't try even to control them. For example, about winning, you can only rely so much on your practice, you can rely on your skills, and you can rely probably on your confidence and your motivation, but actually you may not be able to determine, just by the fact that you're motivated, you have practice, you will not determine whether you win or not, because also that will depend on how your opponent is going to play. So if your opponent plays better than you, then it means you lose. And therefore, if you're open to losing and winning, then that becomes a very good kind of mental state that enables you to go through the event of losing without actually losing yourself in the process. As sportsmen and celebrities, I would encourage you, one of the things that you can do, which is very, very, very clear, is know actually who you are, not what you have. Such that what you have can be taken away from you, but you remain who you are. Number two is always to try as much as you can. The moment you notice you're grappling with some mental issues, it could be too much stress, anxiety, panic attacks, or sometimes you're demotivated, you feel burnout, reach out. Talk to someone for your support. Maybe you can talk to a therapist, you can talk to your coach, you can talk to your colleague. They will be able to support you and encourage you so that ultimately, once you get helped, then you're able to move on with your career. The other thing also, do not try to cope in a maladaptive way or in a negative way. because sometimes you realize that you can't keep up with the pressure. Then at times you decide, you say, let me go and drink, let me use this substance. If you do that, then actually you are causing more pressure, because under substance use you may not be able to perform as much, you may not be able to practice as much. So it's important to consider those skills. Something else that I can also encourage the sports people is exercises that you do already is therapy by itself. So if you can do it sometimes not just for winning, but just to enjoy, that is still another way actually of being able to work around the mental health. Because what happens when you exercise is your mind moves from that constant stressor or stressful moment or event, and you focus on something that is exciting you, something that is building you up, something that's motivating you, and that alone becomes an antidote to quite a lot of other mental illnesses. And of course, at the end of it all, to actually admit that you're a human being like everybody else, you can have a broken relationship, you can lose someone who is very close to you, and so when these things happen to you, then you don't have to look down on yourself. Feel motivated and know that you're still a human being like everybody else. A parting shot in this case, I will say that mental health is something big, and we really need to focus on it as a society. That there are so many people who are going through mental struggles, but not all of them are supposed actually to go all the way to a point where they get hospitalized, or where they get to a rehabilitation center, or where someone loses it to a point that we say they have gone nuts. We don't have to let people get there. Some cases we only need to talk to someone and actually they will get to a better place. Some other times is to listen to them, not even to say anything, or some other times to understand their situation without judging them. Otherwise, as a celebrity, most people are likely to judge you. But also the other thing that I see with celebrities is you have maybe social media accounts, and of course you win a game and everybody is putting all manner of positive comments there. But then someone who, for whatever reason, they don't like you, they don't like your color, they don't like your body, they will write a very bad comment. And so when you go through that and you see the comment, that can break you down, and you forget actually there were 1,000 positive comments about you, and you focus on this negative comment. This often happens because all along you want to be a super person. So if you can remove that kind of mindset, then you'll be at a good place and you will enjoy life.